Everywhere you look, organizations are racing to implement AI. They're building tools, building roadmaps, creating use cases. And yet, there's also confusion and struggle. Resistance shows up not just to the tools, but to the new ways of working with those tools and what they demand. The transformation feels heavy. Leaders wonder why they're not getting the impact that they expect as quickly as they it claims is possible. Why does it feel like they just added new headaches to their organization? Today, we're pulling back the curtain on that question because the real obstacle isn't the technology, it's the people. More specifically, it's the lack of emotional infrastructure required to support both the technology and human behaviors that it reshapes. And behind all that friction, there's an emotional intelligence gap. There's a paradox. We're investing millions in artificial intelligence while neglecting the emotional intelligence that makes adaptation and collaboration even possible. That's the crisis we're here to talk about. Emotional intelligence and its infrastructure means that there's a mindset shift. Emotional intelligence isn't a soft skill, it's an infrastructure. That's what we need to start seeing differently than we typically have. The same way you need electricity for your servers, you need emotional intelligence for the teams that are going to use the new technologies. It's what determines whether AI becomes a force for acceleration or a source of chaos. It doesn't slow down for you to catch up. It increases the volume and speed of inputs. That means your human systems, communication, decision making, emotional processing have to keep up with more ambiguity, faster judgment calls, and higher stakes. And emotional intelligence is what shows up or doesn't under pressure. In my experience, AI doesn't cause dysfunction. It reveals it, magnifies it, it accelerates it. A team might look fine on paper. Weekly stand ups, green dashboards, no escalations. It all looks wonderful. And the AI enters the picture. Suddenly, there's more pressure, fuzzier decisions, broader implications. And without emotional intelligence, the behavior changes, and not in a good way. Tensions rise, people get reactive, trust erodes, progress stalls. That's what we mean when we say emotional intelligence is infrastructure. It's what allows teams to move fast without cracking under the weight of change. So, the first step to success is self awareness, because this is where most organizations stumble. Consider a team that implemented an AI system for customer support. It could classify tickets, recommend responses, escalate with precision. Technically, brilliant. Behaviorally, a mess. The frontline team felt displaced, managers didn't notice, and the executive who pushed the rollout, they just kept saying, "No, they'll get used to it." They didn't. The implementation stalls, morale plummets, and support quality drops. Why? Because the leader's anxiety about delivering results was seeping into everything. He pushed features faster. He skips pauses, the necessary pauses for feedback. His tone signaled urgency, not safety. And when people feel unsafe, they shut down. That's the ripple effect of low self awareness at the top. In emotionally intelligent teams, people can name what they're feeling, not just to themselves, but openly and loudly. I'm worried this change might hurt morale. I'm hesitant to roll this out without more testing. Kind of candor creates safety, and safety fuels performance. Now, empathy isn't about being nice. It's about being accurate across multiple frames of reference, being able to see a broader, bigger, richer picture. AI introduces unfamiliar terrain. Every discipline sees it differently. Product teams see potential. Engineering sees complexity. Operations sees disruption. And legal sees a lot of risk. Without empathy, these differences become points of friction and conflict. With empathy, they become inputs to a better solution. I saw that during a healthcare automation tool rollout. The tool flagged possible billing errors. On paper, it's a great enhancement, except the operations team pushed back hard. The product team was baffled. They were all that they saw was that this was a recommendation engine. It shouldn't be a point of friction. When we introduce empathy and we take a closer look, we can uncover that what logic alone can't. What happened was that the last time a similar tool flagged errors, the ops team was the one who got blamed for missing them. They weren't resisting the tool, they were protecting themselves from being scapegoat again. Perfectly reasonable. Once that fear was understood, the conversation changed. Instead of forcing adoption, the teams co-designed a process with safety nets and clear ownership. The resistance evaporated because the empathy gap had been closed. Now let's talk about emotional regulation. AI accelerates pace, it heightens uncertainty, and introduces role disruption. It's not the pressure that breaks teams, it's their inability to process that pressure, especially at high speeds. I've seen teams that could solve technical issues instantly until someone introduced blame. Then everything slowed down. People got defensive, emotional energy just hijacked their cognitive clarity. To counter that, I use a simple tool, the above and curious check in. Before or during a tense meeting, ask the room, are we still above curious? It's a reset moment. It signals awareness and it helps people shift from defending themselves to exploring possibilities safely. So, why does that matter? Because the moment someone drops below curious, they stop solving problems. Instead, they focus their attentions and energies to protecting their status. And that's when your transformation dies. So, what about practical frameworks for organizational level EI? How do you build emotional intelligence into the way your organization as a whole works? So, we have to get tactical to figure this out. The first thing is we need to normalize the practice of assuming positive intent, not blindly and generously. If someone pushes back on a system, don't default to, why don't you trust the AI? Instead, try, what is it that you're seeing that we might be missing? There's a different perspective here. Explore it. That one question shifts the tone from defense to dialogue. Second, you want to choose your language. Language choice matters. Words fuel emotional responses. So instead of, why didn't you follow the AI's recommendation? Ask, what made you decide to go a different route? It's a slight shift in wording, but the first example feels like judgment, while the second invites exploration and learning. Third, you want to embed emotional feedback into your ceremonies, not just performance metrics, emotional metrics. Try asking questions during retrospectives like, when did we handle uncertainty well this week? Let's figure that out. Or where did we see stress leak into decision making? What was the impact? There's a correlation. Let's understand that cause and effect. These aren't soft questions. They uncover hard truths that, if they remain unexamined, will quietly sabotage your results. Now, you want to have safety zones for emotional practice. Most organizations overlook it. It looks very simple and maybe trivial, but it's really, really important to establish emotional safety. And to do that, you have to rehearse this. One of the best practices I've seen is in cross-functional AI play lab. Just get together weekly, have a session where teams test new tools in a low stakes pace, and then talk about what works and what doesn't, what triggers discomfort. That will surface the concerns, not metrics, not performance pressure, open learning, sharing, exploring. In one of these sessions, a junior engineer can voice concerns about bias patterns no one else can see. So they have a unique, different perspective. One comment can lead to a product pivot that saved the company from a public trust issue 6 weeks later. You learn more in 60 minutes of honest conversation than 600 pages of sanitized documentation that are designed to keep the new toy at a safe distance. So, what are your red flags? What are the signs your organization isn't emotionally ready for AI? I'm going to share five. Blame thrives, and retrospectives are a waste of time. Another one is feedback is framed as it's just data. Then there's people agreeing in meetings, and then they turn around and whether it's the hallway or Slack, that's a very different picture. Another is when AI is used to justify or scapegoat decisions instead of using it to inform better decisions. And lastly, your emotion is dismissed as a touchy feely distraction that has no place in the workplace. These are signs of brittleness, and brittle systems don't adapt well, especially under accelerated conditions and pressure. And that's what AI is all about. One of the most dangerous signs, offloading emotional complexity to the AI, like the team that implements a ranking algorithm and says, it's not personal, it's just what the model said. No, it's personal. Every system reflects human choices. Pretending otherwise shows that your emotional maturity hasn't caught up with your technical capability. So, if you're a leader, if you have a leadership role, you need to be very mindful of the fact that you're setting the tone, whether you mean to or not. A leader who stays curious under pressure gives the team permission to do the same. And a leader who owns their reactions instead of projecting them creates a culture of safety. A leader who casually asks, what's it been like working with me this month? Well, truly welcoming the answer. Okay, not just there's only one right answer, any answer. That models the kind of growth that builds loyalty and trust. Emotional intelligence scales, it multiplies, and it always starts at the top. So let's put this together. AI isn't replacing your teams, it's illuminating them, it's helping them, it's propelling them. It's showing you right now where trust is weak, where fear is hiding, and where the essential conversations aren't happening and need to happen fast. The organizations that succeed won't be the ones that are most automated and have the best technologies. Will be the ones who are the most emotionally intelligent, because that's what makes AI usable. Without it, you get resistance, confusion, and dysfunction when you're faced with equally rigid systems that are not aligned with humans and how humans think, feel, and operate. When you have it, you get trust, speed, and real collaboration. The future isn't tech driven or human driven, it's both integrated and emotionally intelligent. So I'll leave you with this. If your organization is serious about AI, it has to get serious about emotional intelligence. We lost a lot of time through the agile transformations that didn't work because we didn't address the emotional intelligence aspects and helping our organizations develop and grow to the levels that were necessary so that we could be prepared for AI. AI is here now. We have to deal with this. It's not a choice anymore. The real question isn't, are you using AI? But is it, are you building an emotional infrastructure to use AI wisely? That work starts now with honest conversations, courageous feedback, and deliberate practices that reinforce trust. So bring that to conversation to your team. Bring it to your leadership group and then come back and share what you learned in the comments. We'd love to know. And if you'd like to learn more about building psychological safety for AI implementation, click one of these. I'll be happy to tell you all about it.